This is still Teddy, and today I want to talk to you guys about creating your own path, being different, really being delusional.
Secret to your confidence.
Delusion. I have no concept of reality whatsoever, and in my alternate reality where I live, I'm a guy that knows everything. It may not be right, but it does give me superhuman confidence.
So, with everything that I've experienced in my life, I can confidently say that most of my life's most pinnacle moments stem from embracing being bold and seemingly making more delusional choices rather than relying solely on logic. And this goes as far back from my family's escape from the Liberian Civil War to buying our dream home here about 8 years ago with no clear means for how we were going to be able to really afford it, to then a few years later becoming a millionaire. And that in itself was a vision that I manifested back in middle school. It's really these unconventional leaps of faith that has made all of the difference in my life. And given my background, it seems like there were countless barriers between me and my goals. But fortunately, mentally, that gap did not exist. And to be clear, what I'm here to speak on is not about money, because I've since spent all of that million and I've made it back again and spent all of that, and now I'm currently at the place where I'm building it back again, and that's a story for another time. But I just want to be clear that the root of what I'm here to speak on is not about the physical world, but more so it's about the power of our thoughts, our mindset, and our will to overcome any obstacle. And at that time in my life, money was one of my greatest obstacles. And I know that some of you can definitely understand that. But what truly matters is, how we can harness the strength of our minds to be able to transform our reality. What I think is that the secret to transforming your life is not really about being practical or logical, but instead it's about being what most people would call delusional or crazy. But as Steve Jobs said, the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. So today I want to really break down why being delusional is one of the keys to manifesting your dreams and why logic might actually be holding you back. So with that, let me take you to church. So in the Bible, John 21 verse 6, Jesus told his disciples, he said, "Cast your net to the right side of the boat and you will find some." So these fishermen had been fishing all night unsuccessfully. And then Jesus came along and said, "Cast your nets to the right side." And what happened was they followed his instructions. They cast their net to the right side and they could barely pull anything up because it was so heavy, it was so filled. So I don't know if you can see through this, but this story isn't really just about fishing. It's a metaphor about how we can approach life. The boat represents us, the two sides of the boat, left and right, that symbolizes the two hemispheres of our brain. The left, which is usually more logical, and the right is dedicated to the creative side, where you have creativity, spiritual, and is the more faith-driven side. So the left hemisphere of the brain, that's the more logical side. And that's always asking, well, how will this work? Where's the evidence? Where's the proof? I don't know about that. And that's because it's the more practical and more rational side. But it's also very limited because it's only operating within what we can see and measure. And it turns out that what we can see and measure is only about 0.035% of the electromagnetic spectrum. That means that 99.965% of reality is unseen. That means that almost 100% of reality we don't see. That's crazy. So what's seen is a tiny fraction of what is possible and what's real. So when you rely solely on logic, you're really confining yourself to this tiny sliver of reality. And so with this in mind, no wonder logic often leads to failure in manifesting your dreams. Let's talk more about the right side of the brain. Again, this is where creativity is, this is where you'd find your intuition, and this is where faith lives. But here's the truth, is that what society is calling delusional is actually faith in action. So now, in the Bible and in other spiritual books, the right side is repeatedly emphasized. Jesus, symbolizing higher consciousness, was also crucified and resurrected in the East at a place called Golgotha, which is an Aramaic word meaning the place of the skull. And Golgotha is a significant location in Christian traditions. It symbolizes sacrifice and redemption. So all of this here represents the awakening of the right hemisphere of the brain. What this is speaking to is us being able to crucify the old self, crucifying the mind that's holding you back, and then reawakening the divine that's within you. This to me represents achieving the highest consciousness, where logic has to give way to faith and your creative nature. If you look at Hindu and feng shui traditions, they also align with this, where the East is seen as the direction of enlightenment, while the West represents materialism. So life is really about balancing both, but it's through the East, your spiritual side. That's where the true transformation begins. So this journey requires us to discipline our doubts and move beyond logic, and then we can embrace faith, creativity, and spiritual alignment. How do we apply this? How do we live from the right hemisphere? First, we should detach from logic. So when your mind is asking, how will this work? Just calmly tell yourself, it's not for me to worry about it. You just got to trust that the Creator's infinite mind that's within you knows the way. 2, you got to feel it. Manifestation isn't about waiting for the evidence. It's about feeling the emotions of your desired reality right now. So feel as if you're already there. Embody that. 3, protect your dreams. Not everyone will understand your dreams. Not everyone will be able to see your vision. But like a seed, your dreams, they might need some protection until they're ready to grow. So don't let others pour any doubt onto your plans. The evidence that the logical mind is looking for kind of depends on you being confident. As your confidence grows, the evidence also continues to grow along with it. It's a positive feedback loop. And the more that you trust in the unseen, the more that the seen world will be able to align with what faith you have on the inside. Now, while the right brain is where the manifestation begins, the left brain still has a role. Because once your vision is clear, then you use the left brain to take the inspired action. Manifestation is simple. Make sure you're casting your net to the right side. Remember, you are creating a reality that's far bigger than what logic can even comprehend, let alone see. And with that being said, be delusional and create the life that you were meant to live.